A while ago, I made a challenge video for Super Mario Galaxy, where the goal was to try and beat the game without touching colors, and every time I did touch a color, it was removed from the list. You guys really liked this video, so I went to the board of directors about this, and the executive said that we need a sequel to get 1 jokillion subscribers. And it just so happens Nintendo said the same exact thing about Mario Galaxy. So today we asked the question, can you beat Super Mario Galaxy 2 without touching colors? A lot of the rules will be similar from the last video, but I'll reiterate them so we're all on the same page. The rules that will remain similar from last time is that we won't count Mario as touching colors while he's in a cutscene, since we have no control over him. We also won't count star bits, because they're always going to be random colors and they're all over the place, which would just make the challenge less fun and more tedious. A few differences this time around is that we'll be playing through the game as Mario, since unlocking Luigi has a different set of requirements in this game, and we'll also be using 1 player, since 2P is not as useful in this game as it was in Galaxy 1. With all that out of the way, we can start our game and see just how far we can make it through Galaxy 2 while avoiding colors. The first part of the game is the intro, where Peach invites us to the castle for some cake, and just like the gateway in Galaxy 1, we're gonna lose a lot of colors here. Since we're in a cutscene to start, we technically haven't lost the color green, but now that we're in control, we have. When we walk in front of the flowers, they rustle like Mario's walking through them, so we need to backflip over them, which we can easily clear, and thankfully the toads don't react to Mario, so we can just walk in front of them. Right after, we meet the lost baby Luma, who decides to imprint on us and make Mario an unexpected proud mother, giving him the ability to spin and break crystals. But since they're tinted blue, we avoid them just to keep the color safe. This is short-lived, however, since we have the choice to lose the color brown to jump over the top crystal, or lose the color blue to break the bottom crystal. I opt to take the brick path to lose the color brown, because just a few rooms after, the entire floor is brown, so we would lose it either way. All we need to do now is avoid the crystals falling from the sky, and hear Bowser's whole rant about wanting to control the universe, then head over to the Lumas where we stand on the gray bricks here in a cutscene. Right out of the cutscene, we lose the color gray alongside the color orange by needing to take this launch star to actually reach the first level of the game, which means we're 4 colors down so far and we don't even have a star yet. Now we're in Sky Station for our first star, and to get off the first planet, we need to get on the roof of the house that we can access from the underside. The crystal blocking the way looks like it has a mixture of blue and green tints, so to play it safe and keep blue, we can do a jump on the side of the brownish chimney to reach the roof, and then take the launch star, and we lose the color blue to this random crystal in the sky. Technically, this doesn't count as a cutscene since it's actually part of the gameplay, so we can't even use that as an excuse to skirt around it. Right after, there are yellow platforms that move up and disappear that we're supposed to stand on to reach the Luma at the top of the tower. But with a well-timed triple jump, we can just get enough height to get to the top. Just a few planets later is the boss planet with Pee-wee Piranha, and in a cutscene we crack its egg, which still lets us keep white. Unfortunately, the fight requires us to break the shell on Pee-wee Piranha to defeat it, so we do have to lose the color white. But even with the boss dead, we haven't even lost our last color in the level yet, since we still need to grab the Power Star, which is the main collectible of the game. Some people may say gold is its own color, but I mean, let's be honest, gold is just shiny yellow, just like how silver and bronze are just shiny gray and brown. After collecting this star, we're brought back to this sad excuse of a space rock with some Lumas on it, and with them is their boss Lubba. Lubba explains her and her crew had an encounter with Bowser, and he stole all their Power Stars. And once the young Luma vouches for Mario, Lubba uses the Power Star we got to turn the place into a spaceship. We now have access to the map in World 1, and are 69 stars away from our goal. Nice. To reiterate, we started with 11 colors, and now we only have red, purple, pink, and black left. This feels rather reminiscent of Galaxy 1, since we still have red, pink, and black, but this time we also have purple, so that's better than before. The next star we get is going to be the second star in Sky Station, because this galaxy over here is trying way too hard for our attention. We start in the same place as the first star, but now there are little chain chomps rolling around everywhere, and while it's easy to avoid them, we also need to be careful not to step on the black paths on the ground that the chomps circle on. The rest of the level doesn't have any threats, aside from the occasional bonsai bill, and we're careful not to touch the black eyes on the Power Star to complete Sky Station for now. The next level in our path is Yoshi Star, and this one's exciting because it introduces one of the biggest new elements of the game, Yoshi! However, Yoshi's saddle is red, so we need to try to make our way forward without him. Unfortunately, we can't even get out of the beginning area because Mario can't even jump out of the mud here. This means we do have to get on Yoshi and lose the color red, but since our list of colors to avoid has narrowed, we can pick up our first Comet Medal. Comet Medals allow comets to appear in levels they've been collected in sometime around World 3, so we're going to be picking them up along the way to get those extra stars in these levels later. We need Yoshi to pull up this fruit at the end of the area, which means that even if we did get past the mud, we needed Yoshi anyway. And with no pink, purple, or black in our way for the rest of the level, we can grab the power star and get into one of my favorite stars in the game. I could explain why it's my favorite, but I'd much rather show you the reason instead. That right there is called an infinite flutter, which allows us to gain some massive distances with Yoshi, and in this case skip any potential threat in the level by taking us from the beginning right to the boss. The boss itself is not hard at all either, and we can use his spinies to hit the purple cloud he sits in and move onward through World 1. The next galaxy is Spin Dig, and the level here is predominantly made of dirt, so we don't need to worry about stepping on a color we've already touched. The reason this level is made up of mostly dirt is because of one of the new power-ups in this game, the Spin Drill. This power-up is so funny to me, since instead of actually transforming Mario, he kinda just holds the drill above his head and spins on it to drill through the dirt, and we can use it to get on top of these dirt pillars by going through opposite sides of the planet. Eventually, we make it to the Toad ship with a checkpoint flag that's right below the launch star. In Galaxy 1, all the checkpoints were invisible, so once you hit a set point in the level, the game would just kinda plop you where it wants to, but in this game you need to actually set these checkpoints yourself. There's really nothing we can do about it, and we're gonna have to touch it. Except, the hitbox for the checkpoint just goes slightly above the flag, so through a slow motion analysis, you can see that Mario himself never actually touches the black flag, which actually keeps him safe and keeps another color in our pocket. The launch star sends us to the small planet with Dig-a-Leg, a small robot that craps out enemies and is part of the Mega Leg family. Yeah, that guy from before. This boss is super simple, and once you hit him 3 times, the glass shatters and we get our star. Spin Dig 2 is the first star we need to step away from, because right after taking this vine off the first planet, the ground we land on is both pink and purple, which are both colors that we still have to avoid. But thankfully, we can move on to Fluffy Bluff Galaxy instead. Fluffy Bluff introduces yet another brand new power-up to this game, which is the Cloud Flower. And the Cloud Flower is awesome, because it allows us to create platforms in mid-air to stand on. What's not awesome is that the clouds that follow behind us have black eyes that touch us after creating a platform. So not only can we not use the power-up, we're also not able to stand on any clouds without them disappearing if we aren't transformed. This doesn't mean that we have to lose black here though. It is possible to do this level without ever needing to use the Cloud Flower, which I tried to do, but yeah, that's not happening. Thankfully, I was able to send a flare into the Mario Galaxy community Discord, and thanks to Sheep, we have footage of someone who can complete the star transformation list. The first part right here requires a precise triple jump to reach the landing up above, and then line up to do multiple consecutive long jumps until we can reach the launch star. The water planet only has the clones chasing after you, but grabbing all the star chips is so easy that it would honestly be embarrassing to run into one. In the last section here, you can just barely miss the Cloud Flower on the swinging vine to get up on the tree, and finally do some tight long jumps and a triple jump to reach the end of the stage. Let's get a round of applause for Sheep for helping us out with this star. There was one other star in the stage behind a hungry Luma, which was already a problem since we can't touch pink, but I forgot the Luma's on a big cloud, so we can't even stand on the platform. On to Right Side Down Galaxy! Right at the beginning is a dandelion with a pink top that we can do a wall jump off the wall here to avoid, but right after we're blocked by the checkpoint flag here. As I said before though, the hitbox for the flags extends above the flag itself, so we can just barely activate it, make it red, and pass right through it just fine. As for the fire flowers littered throughout the stage, they also have black eyes, but as long as we approach from the side, we're safe. From here, we can cross over the green segment to get up on the walls of the final section and head right to the star. And then we can come right back into the stage to immediately take this pipe up here in the beginning and reach the box minigame. This is supposed to be similar to the trash bombing minigame in Galaxy 1, but this one's actually more bearable. That is, if we didn't need to avoid all the black circles on the ground here. Honestly, I thought this star would take me a long time, but I was actually able to beat it on my first try, even with 2 seconds to spare. With 8 stars in our pocket, we're able to reach the first boss stage of the game, Bowser Jr.'s Fiery Flotilla, and for being a boss level, this one's actually super simple to complete. In the beginning of the stage, we can grab the Comet Medal on top of the thwomp here, and then use its upward momentum to get right on top of the wall. From there, we can make our way to the end of the wall and do a simple long jump to enter the gravity field to the boss planet and fight Gobblegut. This boss has absolutely no colors we need to avoid, and just requires us to break all 6 of its grossly exposed organs. And once we do that, we watch it disappear and get our first grand star, keeping pink, purple, and black on our way into World 2. World 2 is a whole new vibe from World 1, which would probably make me cry from just how beautiful it is if I saw it in real life. I wish I could say the same about Puzzle Plank though, because right now we have a major issue. The first section of the level isn't bad, and neither is the second, since we can reach the launch star very easily, but it's right after that where we run into our problem. The wooden panels of this part just happen to be purple, and the distance to the brown planks is much greater than the distance we can cross with Mario's movement alone, so we're gonna need to lose the color purple. There actually is another route in this level we can take by feeding the hungry Luma here, which would require us to lose the color pink. But by going this way, we'd also lose black, since the only way to the boss island is by using the cloud flower, and we don't have the 2P jumps to help us out this time around. The obvious choice is going to be losing purple, since by going the other route, we'd lose 2 colors instead of only 1. And if all else fails, we can always return to this stage and see what the other route would do for us instead. From Puzzle Plank, we head into Hightail Falls and get to see our pal Yoshi again. Not only does Mario get brand new power-ups in this game, but so does Yoshi through powered up fruits, and this level in particular shows off the Dash Pepper. We can use the Dash Pepper to run up steep slopes and even vertically up walls, and reach this part here with these black platforms that sink when you walk on them. Yeah, okay, I did touch them, which I shouldn't have, but sometimes I'm so caught up in the gameplay, I just don't realize, sue me. But it is possible to avoid all these platforms by doing some Yoshi flutters, and then we can flutter once again at the end of the level to reach the star. Next stop is Boulder Galaxy, and the rock mushroom probably has to be my favorite power-up in this game. It rocks! The power-up allows Mario to turn into a boulder and roll around to destroy anything in his path, which we can use to get the comet medal and the crystal and knock this bridge down. Right past the ramp is an arena full of enemies that we need to kill to progress to the next area, but since a majority of the enemies are pink, we can instead do a long jump off the side of the ramp and with a well-timed spin get sucked into another planet's gravity. The only hazard left is a checkpoint flag which turns red before we can touch it, so we're still fine. But when we land on the boss planet, we briefly touch the color pink, then get moved off of it in the cutscene, and then after the cutscene get placed back on the pink. This star obviously can't be completed, so we have to leave the stage and head over to Cosmic Cove Galaxy to get the stars over there. Cosmic Cove 1 doesn't have any pink or black to interact with to complete the level, but Cosmic Cove 2 lets us go the whole stage without issue until we get placed on the final planet, which unfortunately does look to be black, and if it's not, then it's just a very, very, very dark gray. After that, I took a peek into Wild Glide Galaxy, because the gimmick of this galaxy is you grab onto a bird named Fluzzard and glide through the level via motion controls. And while his body is pink, Mario only grabs onto his talons, so we can breeze through the level and get our 13th star. We have another major issue now though, since we need 16 stars to reach the boss galaxy, and we grabbed every star so far that we possibly can without touching pink or black. The last option we have is to call Hungry Lumas from the overworld, since we don't have to use a pink launch star, so we wouldn't need to touch the color. Well, we wouldn't have to touch pink if the flowers around the Luma didn't have any. It's hard to see, but right between the edges and the center of these flowers, it looks like the gradient is pink, and the ring of flowers is the furthest you can be before you can interact with the Luma. You can try to get between the Luma and the flowers to interact with it, but you're just going to end up touching the Luma, so it looks like either way we're going to need to be losing pink. Since we have no other stars available to us and we're still 3 stars short to progress, we're going to need to sacrifice the color pink. This allows us to get the Hungry Luma in Hightail Falls, which is a silver star mission, but since the stars are so nice as to not invade our personal space, we can keep them at a distance to not interact with the blacks of their eyes. The next Hungry Luma we feed is the one in the overworld in World 2 and open up Honeybloom Galaxy. Honeybloom has 2 available stars. The first star we get is the secret star, which is right up this passage at the beginning here, and the other star is at the very end of the stage. We finally get to use the bee mushroom, which makes a reappearance from Galaxy 1. And despite the typical bee stereotype being yellow and black stripes, Mario shows us that there are more colors out there that won't end our challenge and uses brown on the mushroom instead. This allows us to grab the power up, and the only other color we need to worry about for the rest of the stage is the black fuzzies on these poles, but we're able to just fly right past them, so they're not even an issue. At this point, we can reach the Bowser stage at the end of the world, but I wanted to go back and grab every other star we were previously unable to reach to max out our potential star count. This means we can get the stars in Boulder Bowl 1, Spin Dig 2, and Flip Swap 1, which brings us to a total of 19 stars heading into Bowser's lava lair. Okay, look, I'm going to need you to bear with me here because during the star, some of the logic is going to feel a little stretched, but I just need you to hear me out while we go through it. At the beginning of the stage is a Magic Koopa that we can skip right past with a long jump and a spin, and then we can do another spin to narrowly avoid the black rocks on the next planet. Past here is where things start to enter a bit of a gray area, since on the other end of the planet, none of the rocks actually look black at all, which is the same with the metallic ends of these planets because they usually look like they're black, but when they're in direct light, they shine gray. I'm going to make the executive decision to call this area poorly lit and say that the metal is actually gray so we can keep the color black and make it to the next section. Immediately as we land on the next planet, it looks like we almost land on a black tile. And from this camera angle, it's really hard to tell, but it looks like it's just the edge of our shadow that touches it, so it doesn't seem like our body actually interacts with the color black here. From here, we need to do some very precise long jumps across these flipping platforms, then do even more precise movement in this area with the hammer bro to try to take him out while avoiding all of the black spots. This section did take a few tries, like most of this level did, but eventually we're able to take him out and move on. The section here has some womps in the way that we can get under when they jump, and then we can reach the big door with the lock on it that we destroy with the shiny space rock. When the door opens, it creates a purple beam that pulls us in, so I guess if we took the Hungry Luma route in Puzzle Plank, it would have ended our run right here. In the final stretch, there's a lot of green carpet we can walk on to avoid the black tiles on the ground, and purple snake blocks to carry us across the lava. And the final area is yet another locked door, but this time it has 3 locks on it. We need to be careful not to touch the shiny rocks as they appear from the ground in their black shells, or touch the black rocks around the dirt. But we hit all 3 and the door opens up, to show us that the void is red and black. We can always hope we only touch red, but the beam draws Mario right to the center, which is where it's black. And even though we don't have control of Mario, it's not quite a cutscene, so it still counts. Even if we wanted to hold on to hope and really try to bend the logic to say it's like a really dark red, then sure. We can enter the Bowser fight, which takes place on a bit of a bluish-gray planet with some black tiles. And even if you dodge all the black and defeat Bowser, we can't even reach the Grand Star since it places us on the floor with black and blue splotches. So even with all the bullshitting, there's still no way to keep black. So let's reiterate. In the prologue, we lose green from the grass, brown from these blocks optionally but then would have forcefully lost it anyway, gray by needing to stand on the bridge out of the cutscene, and finally orange by needing to enter the launch star to reach Sky Station. In Sky Station, we're forced to hit this blue crystal on the launch star flight path, and the boss fight we lose white to break Pee-wee's egg, and at the end we lose yellow to collect the power star. Throughout all of World 1, we only end up losing red to hop on Yoshi since we can't get out of the first area of Yoshi Star without him. For Puzzle Plank, had we taken the pink Luma, we would have lost both pink from the launch star and black from the cloud flower, meaning that by the time we reach Bowser's lava lair, we would have lost purple to the beam. However, by losing purple, we were unable to get enough power stars for lava lair without sacrificing pink, meaning that black is our last color, and we lose it before actually seeing Bowser. So that means that no, it is not possible to beat Super Mario Galaxy 2 without touching colors. Honestly, it's a little disappointing we couldn't beat Galaxy 2 without touching colors, considering even in the face of losing it all in Galaxy 1, we were still able to beat that challenge. I feel like what makes it so much harder for this game is that the player's forced to complete at least 1 star in the majority of galaxies in order to progress, which really limits our options. Galaxy 1 also had a lot more stars per stage, so if a stage was safe from colors in that game, it was really easy to get multiple stars quickly. All in all, we tried our best, and that's what matters. Hopefully someday the game has a new groundbreaking glitch that allows us to save a color, but until then, we'll just have to accept reality. Thank you all very much for watching this video. I had just as much fun doing this challenge like last time, and even if the outcome wasn't what we all hoped for, it was still a worthwhile experience to at least give it a try. If you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you left it a like and even subscribe. I have a lot of videos coming up that I'm so excited to show everyone, so I hope everyone else is just excited about what I have in store. Thank you all very much again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.